Good afternoon, everybody. My name is Donna Fiesel, and I'm your host of Donna's Edge on IAC Radio, your source for news and entertainment. You can find us on television, channel 182 on Charter Communications and Abundance Television, found on Roku, Apple TV, and Amazon Fire. The new podcast starting up on the 15th of this month, and we're really excited about that as well. I have AP Steadham, everybody's favorite talk show host and sports commentator. It's good to have you back on the show again today.
Hey, Donna, thank you so much. It's always exciting to talk about college football, and so glad to be here with you.
Yeah, I'm tickled. Well, we had some exciting football games this weekend.
Yeah, we sure did. Let's look at Auburn. They headed up towards Nashville to play Vanderbilt, came away with a 31-15 victory. Peyton Thorne, the quarterback, had a pretty good ball game. Another one, second straight win in the conference for Auburn Tigers. 190 yards throwing the football, and then Jaquez Hunter had 180 yards rushing. So that was very complimentary type football that you need to win in the SEC. And they shut down the receiver for Vanderbilt, the outstanding receiver Willis Shepard had, I think, 4 receptions for 40 yards or so. So, Vanderbilt has trouble scoring points. Defensively, they give up a lot of points. So it was a perfect victory for Auburn. They're on the way to making a bowl game. They have to win one more. We know that they have upcoming games against New Mexico State in a couple weeks, so they have to win that game. And then Arkansas on the road against Fayetteville. And Arkansas came away with a victory on the road in Gainesville, Florida, 39-36. But Auburn should be in a bowl game with the 6th victory in the next couple of weeks. So that's good for first-year coach Hugh Freeze.
Well, they had to. It had to work this time. So what did they do differently than what they've been doing all season?
Yeah, I think it's taken them a while, Donna, to solidify the quarterback position. Peyton Thorne transferred from Michigan State. They don't have exceptional receivers outside, so you have to be very accurate with your throws. Your play calling has to be spot on, get people open and get them the ball. So I think that the quarterback is just more comfortable after 7 or 8 games in the and on the schedule, and so that helps when you can throw the football, and then you have the balance with Hunter. They're blocking for him. He had 180 plus yards, another good ball game for him. So I think when you can have some balance in your offense, it makes you unpredictable. So the defense has to guard the run and the pass. And they put 31 points on the board. Down. The name of the game is points on the board. Okay. Doesn't matter how they score them defensively, special teams, offense, get points on the board, put the pressure on the other team.
I think the key word you just mentioned was unpredictable. If it can be predicted, right, anything you're going to do, any of your moves, you're not going to win.
Yeah. Disadvantage if they're calling out your plays and they're knowing if you're going to run or pass. You want to have it where the other team is guessing defensively.
Yeah, do it the woman's way. Keep them guessing. Yeah, there you go.
that should be an offensive name. Woman's way.
The woman's way. So, and that's a good strategy.
I like that.
People, you're free to use it. Going ahead, but that's what you do in business, to make business a success. And you keep the other side guessing, but you have to keep running as if they're not a competitor. You don't have to think about competition. Let them think for you.
No, that's right. Yeah, keep it mysterious. Right. But Auburn won, and then look at Tennessee up north. They played University of Connecticut. It was over by halftime. Final score 59. I think it was 59-3 was the final score. So there wasn't much competition there. So Tennessee's got a big game down this weekend. They travel to Columbia, Missouri. Missouri's been a hot team. They had a good game against Georgia. They fell short, but it still means a lot for Missouri and Tennessee because they're in the SEC Eastern Division. They're rivals. So you want to try to maintain that second position in the SEC East. Tennessee, they've got Missouri and then, of course, Georgia the following week. But this is a big ball game for Tennessee. Missouri, they're very good offensively. Brady Cook is an outstanding passer. Luther Burden III, one of the top receivers in the country with yardage and touchdowns. And Schrader's the walk-on from Truman State at Missouri, one of the leading rushers in the conference. And we know Tennessee has 3 running backs, average over 5 yards per carry. Joe Milton III. He has to continue to be better at quarterback, passing the football, leading his team. So this is this would be a great ball game to watch. Tennessee at Missouri this weekend.
Is that your pick for the week?
Yeah, that's one of the better games, Don. Alabama, we'll discuss them in a second. They're traveling to Kentucky. Kentucky's passing game has been very good the last couple of weeks. Finally, Devin Leary, the transfer from North Carolina State, playing quarterback for the Wildcats. He seems to be in a groove right now, and Kentucky's going to need those passing yards against an Alabama defense. But they're hosting the Crimson Tide on Saturday. I think those are probably, I would say those are the two best games within the conference, Donna. The Tennessee at Missouri and then the Alabama at Kentucky game be the two best games, I believe, this week. Georgia, let's say Georgia's. Oh no, I'll take that back. I'll say there's actually three because Ole Miss travels to Georgia.
Let's talk
and
about
Ole Miss is at 8-1.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Ole Miss is 8-1 down. They defeated Texas A&M 38-35. Good ball game, competitive game on Saturday, and they're 8-1. They have the one loss in the conference to Alabama, SEC Western Division foe, and so Georgia's 9-0 undefeated, number one in some of the polls, number two last week in the college football playoff rankings. So that's another good. So that's I'm just going over this carefully here. That is three excellent games to watch, Donna. Three excellent games. Kentucky, I mean LSU, they lost to Alabama over the weekend, 42-28. Their quarterback Jaden Daniels took a vicious hit by Dallas Turner. I thought it should have been a targeting call, but it wasn't. And so he was out with the concussion protocol. And once he left the game, there was no way LSU could keep up with Alabama because both teams, to me, defensively were lacking. I mean, LSU had the 28 points and beginning of the fourth quarter. Jaden Daniels was in there. I don't think they could have held him out of the end zone. They probably would have reached a minimum 35. So Donna, the only team I see really playing some what you'd call high level defense is Georgia. I mean, and Missouri was able to Missouri scored 21 points against, which is a decent amount because Missouri has a very good offense. So he held them to 21 and you won the game. He scored 30-21. But I think Georgia's one of the few teams is playing some defense where they can stop the other teams at times. Everybody else, it's just putting points on the board. I mean, Alabama, like they gave up 28 and when the quarterback went out. So that's not a full test of that defense. I think they would score 35 or 40. And Texas A&M supposed to have a good defense. They gave up 38 to Ole Miss. Nobody's playing very good defense this year, not only in the SEC, but around the country.
Matt had a good question for you. And so his question for you is this. I'm looking for it a little bit. There we go. Okay. So Matt wants to know your opinion. If any of the teams Georgia has already played could get a redo, which one do you think could beat Georgia if they could get a redo?
Yeah, I think Missouri. Missouri played a good ball game. There was a couple close calls by the officials, and the Missouri quarterback made a huge mistake through an interception that is kind of unusual. So I think looking at these teams have a redo, I would say Missouri is a team, but you can't go on the road down and play against elite teams and make mistakes. You have to be mistake-free, and hopefully that team doesn't play as well at home. Georgia, number one, number two team in the country. So, but Missouri had a good game plan. They just, like I say, made some mistakes, and there were some close calls with the officials as well.
Mm-hmm. So what's going on in Clemson? I had a lot of emails and texts about that.
Yeah, Clemson, they rebounded. They beat Notre Dame. So that was a big win for them because they have 4 losses at the moment. And so now they have their 5th victory in it. Yeah, that was a big game for them because they still have North Carolina left on their schedule and South Carolina's a rival game. And so, but Clemson is down this year. They're not playing very well, making quite a few mistakes, but they were able to defeat Notre Dame at home in South Carolina. So that was a huge victory for them. But South Carolina, Clemson, has to rejuvenate the program next year, because 4 losses, that's way beyond what anybody perceived would happen for this team this year.
A little bit of whispering out there too is about Dabo. Is he close to losing? Is he close to being thrown out as coach?
Yeah, I mean, they're not going to accept too many 4-loss seasons. And like I say, the season's not over. It could be more. They have still to play North Carolina, which is a good football team. So they're not going to accept too many more 4-game losses at Clemson, because Dabo's one of the highest paid coaches in the country. So he's going to have to get with it.
Yeah, it really doesn't matter about the past anymore. You've got to be working in today. I mean, it just because he's been a good coach. I'm like one of the biggest winningest coaches ever.
No, yeah, he's been one of the top coaches, and you have a couple national championships. That's not easy, Donna. Yeah, and when he won his national championships, I mean, he defeated Alabama. He just didn't defeat anybody. It was Alabama who was winning most of the championships.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. How much would the payout be if they fired him? What would they pay him?
Oh, gee, Donna, it'd be a huge number, Donna. I don't know how many more years he's got on his contract. He must have at least 4 years on his contract. Probably I think they'd probably have to pay him 40, 50 million or something, some big number. I don't know what it is exactly, but it's a huge number. Yeah, because these agents now, they have total command. They have total command of these presidents and these athletic people have such a fear, Donna, and they have such a fear of losing the coach, okay, that they'll sign a ridiculous contract. I mean, I'm thinking that if I'm Clemson University and we're winning these championships and somebody wants to leave to go somewhere else, there's going to be such a line of people to be, and great people actually, to coach that team. You'll find a coach that can win, continue those winning ways. So I'm not going to pay somebody 40, 50 million to buy them. They want to leave, go ahead and leave.
Yeah, that needs to be. And I realize it's all about a contract. In fact, one of my friends, Renee, who's from Oxford, Alabama, she knew me when I was working corporate with GTE. So she said, would there have been a chance that GTE would have bought out a contract with you? Well, first of all, I didn't sign a contract. I was an employee. And so there was no contract to sign. So that's what it all boils down to. Do you see that changing anytime in the future? I mean, so much money goes to people you fire. I mean, weird. Oh, yeah.
It's absurd that you can make a mistake, 20, 30, 40, $50 million. Who can survive something like that down in a real world? I mean, college football, that's a real world, but it's really fantasy when you think about, I'm the president of university and I agree to this contract and we have to pay somebody 20, 30, 40 million to fire them. It's it's not a belief in your school when you have that type of contract. You're telling me that you can't get anybody to coach your football team? You're going to go down the hill? You built up all this program for the last 50 years, winning football games at Clemson, and you're going to be on the bottom again? Really? That's how much faith you have in your program, and your alumni and your fan base that they won't support a new coach, and you can't find somebody in America to coach your football? I just don't understand it. You ask me if it's going to change, Donna? Really, it takes a couple people at the top of university to say, look, here's the contract. We don't have a buyout. You want to come get our coach? Come on. And if we want to pay more to keep them, that's fine too. But it really takes a couple people at the top to change that trend. I don't foresee it happening, Donna. I just don't.
I don't either, because I mean, it's a trend that got started, and once it's started, I don't think there's an end to it. Hey, we're going to have to go into a commercial break. We'll be right back in just a few minutes. We'll be right back. At Lamone's Mexican Restaurant, located in Henniger, Alabama, and voted Best Mexican Restaurant of DeKalb County, Alabama 2020, we're here to serve you with authentic Mexican cuisine. Order easily online by going to lamonsmex.com or call 256-657-3999 to place your order. We're open Sunday through Thursday, 11 a.m. to 9 p.m. and Friday and Saturday, 11 a.m. to 10 p.m. Whether you're celebrating a cozy date night for two or a celebration for a crowd, at Lamone's you'll love our atmosphere and friendly servers. Thank you for dining with Lamone's Mexican Restaurant. At Liberty Bank, we're all about community, whether it's to help with a charity fundraiser or help families in need. Toys at Christmas or a local football team, we're here for you. You see, we realize the importance of family. Sometimes it's to build a new home or necessary home repairs. We're here for you. If you like the feel of a small town bank with all the conveniences of a big city bank, we're here to serve you. You will find us at any of our convenient locations in DeKalb, Marshall, Etowah, and Blount counties in North Alabama. You can call and speak with any of our friendly staff at 256-659-2175 or check us out on the web at libertybankal.com. And thank you for your support of our community. Member FDIC Equal Housing Lender. Jeff McCurdy of the McCurdy Law Firm has been a public service of this area for over 10 years. McCurdy, a member of the Henniger City Council, serves as prosecutor for the town of Sylvania and was named public defender for the city of Rainsville. The McCurdy Law Firm is located at 17326 Alabama Highway 75 in Henniger to better represent his Jackson and DeKalb County clients. If you need to be represented by a true public servant with proven success, call Jeff at 256-996-8701 or send a private email to mccurdylawfirm@gmail.com. No representation is made that the legal services performed is greater than the legal services performed by other lawyers.
My Towels solved a problem that we've all had with towels. You go into the stores and they feel lotiony and soft, but then you get them home and they wind dry you. That's why I made My Towels. They actually work, they're soft, and they absorb. And now I'm excited to announce 2 brand new lines of My Towels. What makes them the best towels ever is they're now made with 100% long staple Shapir cotton. This is a combed ring-spun cotton that makes My Towels even softer and more absorbent than ever. And now you get a 6-piece set for an amazing introductory sale price as low as $29.98. So go to MyPillow.com or call the number on your screen. Use your promo code to get My Towels for only $29.98. Or you can get my designer premium line for just $20 more. Either way, you save 50% now on all My Towels. They actually work. What a concept. This offer won't last long, so please order now.
MyPillow.com.
The Hatter Cafe and Country Inn is nestled in the northeast corner of Alabama the Beautiful in the delightful town of Mentone. We're located on top of scenic Lookout Mountain near Little River and DeSoto State Park and located only 5 minutes from shopping and restaurants. There is also a nearby community walking path and golf course. We welcome everyone through the doors and we are committed to outstanding service for all guests. At the Hatter Cafe and Country Inn, we invite people from all walks of life to come and get away from it all, enjoy the open spaces, treetop views, fresh, clean air, and experience Southern hospitality at its finest. We look forward to hosting you. To reserve a special event, or if you would love a special getaway at the Country Inn, you can call us at 256-634-2018. We're back. My name is Donna, and I am your host of Donna's Edge on IC Radio, your source for news and entertainment. Find us on television, channel 182, on Charter Communications and Abundant Television, found on Roku, Apple TV, and Amazon Fire. I got this guy here with me. His name is AP Steadham, and he's a talk show host. Now, you guys are actually featured on IC Radio on Fridays at 4, Football Fridays at 4. That's AP and Kelly as we see it. What's going on this week?
Football Fridays every Friday at 4 p.m. Central Time. AP and Kelly as we see it. Last week we had Jacques Doucet from WAFB Baton Rouge, the CBS affiliate, to preview the LSU Alabama game. So that was all. Yeah, Jock's entertaining. He's funny. He's the new sports director. He's been there quite a few years, just named the sports director. But LSU Alabama played over the weekend. Jaden Daniels, sensational quarterback for LSU. Jalen Milroe was on the rise, the quarterback for Alabama. It was a duel. They were even throughout the game until Jaden Daniels was suffered that concussion, possible concussion. Dallas Turner hit him up high, and he drove him into the ground. I thought it was should have been a targeting call. It was not, but I don't know if the league was going to come out later this week and review the film. But it was tied up 28-28, and so Alabama took command, winning the game 42-28. There's no way that the second-string quarterback was going to play well enough to beat Alabama. And Alabama's offense, they were just rolling over LSU. LSU's defense was so porous, Donna. They could not stop anything. Every time they had the football. I'm not sure if Alabama punted, Donna, during the game. I can't remember the punter from Alabama coming out, but I just don't remember. So they come in with the victory. They're in command in the SEC West. They have 2 more conference games at Lexington, Kentucky this weekend. Then they have to play Chattanooga, and then that's the Iron Bowl against Auburn at Auburn. So Alabama's in good stead to reach the championship game over in Atlanta. Probably playing Georgia. We shall see how that plays out. But Georgia has a couple big games left. Ole Miss, which they host, and then they have to travel to Knoxville, Tennessee the following week. Georgia at Tennessee. But I think it looks like at this point, Alabama from the West, Georgia in the East, showdown in Atlanta, and first Saturday in December.
Mm-hmm. That's going to be an exciting game there. Now, your picks of the top 5 within the SEC here, South.
Right. Yeah, we have to start with Georgia, of course, because they've been winning. They're undefeated. I would go with Alabama second. I think the third team right now, you have to look at Ole Miss. They just have the 1 loss to Alabama. Alabama shut them down that game, holding them to 10 points. Then after that, Donna, I would say Missouri. Missouri's that 4th team, and probably Tennessee, the 5th team. And of course, those 2 teams will meet this weekend in Columbia, Missouri. So that's the top 5 in the SEC. LSU got knocked out. Obviously, that's their 3rd loss, their 2nd loss in the conference, 3 losses overall.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's big. It sure is. Let's get outside of the conference, outside of the SEC. What's going on otherwise?
Yeah, we know that Michigan's been winning, undefeated. They have a big game. They travel to State College this weekend to play Penn State. So that's a situation where Ohio State beat Penn State. Michigan is playing Penn State now. Could Penn State beat Michigan, and then could Michigan beat Ohio State? That would be 3 teams with 1 loss. They'd have to come up with some type of tiebreaker in the Big Ten. Then we saw Washington continue to win. They beat USC at USC in Los Angeles by 10 points, 52-42. Washington, they have tremendous offense. Doesn't seem like they play very much defense as well. Oregon keeps winning. They have the 1 loss to Washington. We know Bo Nix is at Oregon. He's having an outstanding season. Probably in the Heisman discussion. I think if he keeps winning, good chance he might get a trip to New York, possibly to be considered as one of the finalists. Oklahoma in the Big 12 was defeated by Oklahoma State. That was a big game in Stillwater. That's the last time for that Bedlam game. Texas, they edged out Kansas State 33-30 with a tight ball game. Kansas State went for the touchdown at the end instead of just kicking the field goal to tie. That was a coach's decision. Florida State keeps winning, beat Pittsburgh. And so those are some of the teams around the country that are in contention. Ohio State, they won as well. Michigan, Florida State, Washington, Oregon, Texas in the Big 12. And we know in the SEC it's Alabama, Georgia at this moment. So those are some of the teams contending for the championship run and to be selected as one of the 4 teams for the college football playoff. And Donna, they come out with that ranking now. Every Tuesday they'll meet and announce the rankings every Tuesday evening.
I'm looking up something right here.
Yes.
The coach who passed away, Bob Knight. Okay, Bob Knight.
Yeah.
So, and I had some responses, some emails sent about Bob Knight. And what he's known for is throwing the chair. I mean, That's what he's known for. But he was a good coach.
Volatility. Yeah, he's a very smart basketball coach, Donna. He wasn't my style of coach, but people liked him. They called him the general. He was a young 24 years old, Donna. He became the head coach of Army at 24 years old. He was the assistant. I think the coach was ill. Tate's Lock, I believe, was the coach. And he took over at 24 years old. So, Donna, when you're 24 years old and you're running your program, there's very few people telling you no. I mean, he should have been reined in years ago for his behavior, coaching some of his players and the other things he'd done in his career. But I don't think anybody would take away from his basketball coaching ability. Very smart, but he wasn't one of my favorites. But he won a lot of games. He won, I think it was 3 NCAA titles, I believe 3. Yeah, he had the last undefeated team. Think about this now. When was the last undefeated team in basketball? 1976.
Wow.
1976. Nobody has been undefeated at that level, Division I level in college basketball. Alabama had a great team that year. Came very close to beating them in the tournament in Baton Rouge, Louisiana. It was a controversial call at the end. That ended up losing the game, but nobody has gone undefeated. And of course, they play more games now. They play probably, I would say, 10 to 15 more games now than they did years ago. And the competition now is more broadened. You have teams that can beat you that are not Power 5, considered Power 5 teams of Power 5 conferences. So it's nobody's even come close lately to being undefeated. It's very difficult. But anyway, he was an excellent coach, but he had volatile. That's the word I would use to describe him.
Well, I'll tell you what, no coach I know of anywhere likes the media because they're so afraid we're going to twist. Now, you and I are easier to interview, okay, because we're not going to do gotcha moments. But one of the, and I'm paraphrasing what he said, what Bobby Knight said, is when he threw the chair and somebody asked him about that. And he said, well, if I wanted your advice, I would have asked before I threw the chair or something like that. So he was always diving right back into the thing.
Yeah, he was really abrupt and he could be very abrasive. And like I said, he was his own worst enemy because of his behavior. It's like Woody Hayes. He admired Woody Hayes because Bobby Knight played at Ohio State, played basketball there on some of their very good teams, actually, championship teams, and they got to the Final Four a number of times here in the early 60s. But that was his demise, his own behavior. That's how he got fired at Indiana, just like Woody Hayes got fired at Ohio State because of their temper. And it's too bad that somebody couldn't coach him to be more disciplined, because his whole philosophy was based on discipline on the court, but he wasn't disciplined as an individual.
And I agree with you for the most part, but there's just something inside me sometimes that goes, attaboy. And I shouldn't be that way, but sometimes I'm just like, you know what? Maybe that was, but you only have about a minute left in this segment. Who is, in your opinion, nationwide, who's the top 5 in all the conferences? Yeah,
the top 5. I think right now I put Michigan number 1, Georgia number 2, Ohio State, Florida State, Washington. That's my top 5. Okay.
Anything you'd like to say before you go?
No, just the games are going to get better now, Donna, because you're coming down to the end. You're trying to find who's going to lead, be the 2 teams that will play in the championship of all these leagues around the country. And it's highly competitive so far. And I'm really enjoying the season because there's teams that are contending with each other.
I do too. It's almost like the good old days are back again post-COVID. I just feel good about it.
Competitive.
It's some relief. It most certainly is. AP, thank you so much for being on the show today. It's always good to be with you. I'm looking forward to next week as well. And also Football Friday at 4, you'll be able to find AP and Kelly there as we see it. Thank you so much for watching. Looking forward to seeing you next time.
Bye-bye, Donna. Thank you.